All right, so good afternoon, Dr. Bicky. My name is Thomas. We're from IET PSB on campus. Before we go to the interview questions, I would like to tell you about the objective of this interview.
Sure.
I mean, the main objective. We would like to share the knowledge that we gained through the interview to the audience who wouldn't have a chance to meet with you and ask you the questions.
Sure.
And we would also like to thank you again for the your personal guided tour on last Friday when we came for the industrial visit.
With pleasure.
So on to the first question. Rolls-Royce was trying to expand its production plant since 2007. So why did Rolls-Royce decide to expand to other countries outside the UK? So what was the main reason for choosing Singapore? Yes.
Thanks, Thomas, and a pleasure to be here today. Rolls-Royce, when you look at the order book, we're at £79.8 billion. So these are confirmed orders that we have for our customers. And when we look at our customer base, 50% of our customers are in this part of the world. That's the Asia and Middle East. So being closer to the customer is at the heart of everything that we do. It's how we deliver technical innovation and engineering excellence through our products and services. Together with customers, there's also the people. Any organization's success is dependent on its people. So we look for countries where you have significant STEM educations. And when you look at Singapore, 40% of the local population are STEM educated. So that takes a big box for us. Then there's the fuller ecosystem and the partnership that we have with universities, with the polytechnics, with the vocational institutes, and the engagement and the focus on high-value manufacturing. Any country that does high-value manufacturing as a significant percentage of its GDP is again another tick box for us. And Singapore has been doing that at 20% consistently and is aiming to keep that there. And when it comes to aerospace, what we do is high-value manufacturing. When it comes to marine technologies, what we do is high-value manufacturing and services.
You mentioned about Rolls-Royce spending about $1.3 billion on R&D every year. So how does Rolls-Royce manage all these R&D developments?
There's mainly three things that we try and do. Reduce the fuel consumptions, reduce emissions, reduce noise. Now, trying to do each one of those things in isolation is actually easy to do. But when you try and do it all together, that's where you really need the technical innovation and engineering excellence. Technologies that we're doing classified into three different buckets, which we call the Vision 5, the Vision 10, and Vision 20. The 5 is technologies that are available off the shelves today that you could employ and put into our products and services. But most of our £1.3 billion investment is for Vision 10 and Vision 20. These are technologies that we're developing today that might take 10 years or 20 years before they go into the products or services.
Rolls-Royce Singapore has set up a research center in NTU and recently also collaborated with A-Star. So what are the areas of focus?
The technology areas of focus that we have here in Singapore are fourfolds. There's manufacturing technologies, there's electrical systems, there's data analytics, and there's repair technologies. Let me talk about each one in turn. Manufacturing technology meaning collaborative robotics, finishing and linishing processes, so that you can make your factories and MRO facilities much more productive. This is also using things like additive layer manufacturing and bringing that into our factories. The other area is electrical systems. When you look at the way the world is evolving, when you look at how the marine industry and the aerospace industry is evolving, we're moving towards more electric hybrid architectures. Marine's already doing that today. Our vessels are already hybrid electric propulsion systems. Some vessels are even full electric propulsions. And aerospace is likely to go into that trend as well. The third one is data analytics. We've been doing data analytics for the last 20 years. So these are clever algorithms that can do predictive rather than reactive maintenance on our products. So that when our aircraft lands, we have the right service engineer with the right part to be at the right place at the right time. The last area is repair technologies. So this is repair and restorations. Again, bringing the additive layer manufacturing into the consideration of how do we turn the turnaround time of MRO activities, the maintenance, repair, and overall activities, into as short a time as possible. And what that does is you save significant amount of time and a significant amount of cost whilst retaining the quality.
I mean, I've been studying diploma and felt that it is very boring and dry. And so only after I joined the IT like 4 months ago, I realized that real-world engineering is different from the classroom setting.
Absolutely.
So I would like to know how you felt when you studied as a university student.
It's an interesting question. When I did my university degree, it wasn't really till sort of the year 3 that things started falling in place for me. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of theory that's involved. Theory is the backbone of any sort of engineering solution that we might develop. But it's until you apply that you really get the value of engineering and you really get the sort of the pride of the solution that you've developed. It's very easy to become very focused on a particular problem statement. Now you might become a specialist in that area, which is great. But real engineering is actually looking at a much more broader and holistic view and bringing the mechanical world with the electrical world, with the thermal world, with the materials world, and looking at a problem statement with a unique sort of perspective to develop your solutions for. And the project that I did at the time allowed me to do just that. And that's what got me fascinated into the world of engineering.
There has been many potential revolution in higher education, especially online courses, and as well as future adoption of hologram and virtual reality in teaching. So the teaching methodology has changed a lot recently.
Absolutely.
So yes, in your view, what is the direction of future higher education to fit the real world engineering workforce?
I think we're in a really exciting place because we have so much information at the tip of our fingertips. There's ways to learn that was not imaginable before, especially when I was doing my university degree. I never knew that I could do online learning now. And doing online learning allows you to actually just manage your time and work-life balance. So I'm still learning today. I still do online courses as much as I possibly can. I'm doing a course on data analytics actually. Using what works for yourself, but don't underestimate the learning that you get from each other. You can get very isolated in online learning, but a lot of the really good platforms now allow you to build a network of like-minded individuals, reach out to your network, and make sure you have enough face-to-face integration time so you can actually sort of test that learning and the thinking that you've done.
So we know that Rolls-Royce has graduate training program. So what are the talents a company is looking for the program?
We look for skills and competencies. And most importantly, we look for a passion in an individual. So this is passion in not just of technologies that exist today, but passion into learning more about what might be out there as well. And once we see that passion, it's about how do you actually work in a team type environment. So my advice would be to not just focus on your sort of skills and degrees and your certifications, but it's about how do you apply that? How do you apply the knowledge? How do you apply that learning that you've achieved, and how do you go out and want to learn more? And these are the things that we would look out for.
We noticed that you've been active for the past 8 years in the IET network, Singapore. So IET PSB on campus was set up in December 2016. So we've only been here for about 4 months. So one of the challenges we faced is many students cannot see the benefits of joining the IET. So could you give us some advice on this?
Sure. I think any sort of young or pioneer engineer who's taken the journey of wanting to learn more, it's more than just sort of within the academia organization or within the industry. What institutes like the IET offer you a global reach and a global network. It allows you to be globally recognized, whether it's in chartered engineering ships or whether it's in fellowships. And that recognition is hugely important because it means you can carry that qualification from one place to another, from one industry to another. So what the IET offers in this range is we've got 150,000 members globally. And they are your members. You can reach to each one of those. You go to any country and you can sort of get in touch with your local network and attend events, meet sort of people who know the industries in that specific country and allow you to build your networks very quickly.
Is there any plan that Rolls-Royce would expand its initiative on STEM education to other regions apart from Singapore?
So STEM is a hugely important initiative for us, and it's not just a country initiative, it's a global initiative. Rolls-Royce is going to reach out to 6 million connections by 2020. And the way we're doing that is through things like the Generation Aerospace, by taking an engine and taking it to the schools, to the universities, to the polytechnics, to the vocational institutes, to really bring the hearts and minds together of what real engineering is. We want to talk about it to our young generation so that they can see what the future in industries like the marine and the aerospace looks like into the future, so that they become aspirational to do science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and we have a healthy pipeline, not just for Rolls-Royce, but for the industry specifically.
Okay, so thank you very much for answering our questions, and we would also like to thank you for, on the behalf of all the students who would be watching this interview and benefiting from it.
With pleasure, and pleasure to be here. Thank you, Thomas.